right, lesson 5.1, so make sure you're on the first page of your notes, are I can statements. So what you should be able to do, hopefully by the end, is I can write a power of 10 as a multiplication expression with factors of 10. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. Again, the goal is to learn what those words mean. And I can write a power of 10 using a base of 10 and exponents. So we're talking a lot about exponents, powers, and then you'll be looking at some patterns with tens today. So the problem we're thinking about. At week 1, Dean had 10 pennies. Each week after, Dean increased the number of pennies by 10 times the previous week. So like 10 more times than he had done the week before. During which week will Dean have 1 million pennies, or will he add 1 million pennies? So you have this table on your paper, so we're going to be filling it out together and then looking for some patterns. So week 1, he had 10 pennies. So that was how many he added that week. Multiplication expression is just 10 for this week. But then week 2, he added 10 times the number. So what multiplication expression can you use to represent the number of pennies? Well, no, I do want that. If I say, okay, he had 10, well, he had 10 times more than the previous week. So he had 10 before, and then I multiplied it by 10, which is 100. So that one's pretty straightforward. Okay, so then like we just did, 10 times 10, which is 100. Make sure you add these to the table as I go through them. So in week 3, he added 10 times the number from week 2. So we could take 100 times 10. I am going to do it the long way just to make a point, to start to see a pattern. So 10 times 10, which was last week, 10 more times 10 more than that, which is 1,000. So the multiplication expression has like the numbers and then what is being multiplied together. An expression is just numbers and those symbols together. So then in week 4, again, we're doing 10 times 10 times 10 from week 3. Add another 10 for week 4. Okay, so then that is 10,000. You might be saying, how did you know that so fast? Well, I'll give you a hint. There's a pattern with the zeros. Okay, so if I look and I say, okay, 4 tens, look how many zeros there are. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just 1, 1, 1, and 1 is going to stay 1. So as long as it's tens, and only tens, the number I multiply together is just going to be a 1 with that many zeros. Let's make sure I didn't. Yes, so only factors of 10. The number of times we use it is the same as the week number. So week 2, 2 tens. Week 3, 3 tens. Week 4, 4 tens. So do make sure you also add the week numbers in there. Forgot to say that. So here's where we get some words, but it's not as hard as it might seem. A multiplication expression. Okay, so just again, when I'm multiplying different numbers together with identical factors. So factors are the numbers I'm multiplying together. So they need to, if they're identical, so like 10 times 10 times 10, it could be 3 times 3 times 3, 4 times 4 times 4, 5 times 5 times 5. Anytime we do that, we can write it, use something called a base and an exponent. So the exponent tells us the number of times we multiply the base together, or the base is used as a factor. So if we skip down on your paper a little bit, you have 10 to the 4th. 10 would be the base, and 4 would be the exponent. So on yours, it's this. You can draw an arrow and say, this is the base. We call that the base. It's the bottom number. And then that top one is called the exponent. Now, in 5th grade, we're really only going to look at tens as the base. Eventually, you'll get into other ones, but tens have a really nice pattern with the zeros. Other ones don't have that, right? Like 5 times 5 times 5 is 125, has nothing to do with zeros. But with tens, it's really nice because we have the pattern with the zeros. So make sure you do write that down on your paper. Don't worry, we skipped a couple lines. We'll come back to those. So when a multiplication expression is written using an exponent, it is called exponential form. So on your paper where it says exponential form, go ahead and write when a multiplication expression is written using an exponent. Or you could say multiplying numbers written with the exponent. So exponential form, exponent, notice the common word there. So again, when I write those multiplying, the multiplication expression, and I write it with an exponent instead, shortens it up, we call it exponential form. So I'm going to have you add another column. They added it in the middle. Go ahead and add it just to the right of the one I did. You can just write exponential form at the top. You don't have to draw the lines. But then we can think, okay, well, this is just 10 to the first because it's just one 10. This one is two 10s being multiplied together. So it's 10 to the power of 2 is how I would say that. Or 10 to the second power. This one is 10 to the third power because there are 3 10s. I bet you know what this one is. It's 10 to the fourth power. So it both matches how many times I multiplied 10 together, and it also matches the number of zeros. You need to pause and write that, copy that, go ahead. All right, so we can also call them powers of 10. So on your notes where it says the product of 10 used as a factor a number of times is called a power of 10. So it's just another way to say it. It's like exponential form with tens. It's also called powers of 10. Like I said, 10 to the second power, 10 to the third power. It's just another math word that gets added to your vocabulary. So, like I said, hopefully you notice, like I said, 4 10s, 10 to the fourth, 1 with 4 zeros. Notice how it sort of repeats, like 4 10s, fourth power, 4 zeros. Number of zeros, same as the exponent. This only works for 10, but it's really nice how it works for 10, isn't it? Okay, so to go back to our original question, during which week will he have 1 million pennies? Well, how many zeros does it have? 6 zeros. So I know it's going to be 10 to the 6th or 6 10s. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th week. Go ahead and add in the missing one as well, the 5th week. 1, 2, can I fit them all? 3, 4, 5, 10 to the 5th power, 1 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, and then I can go back and add my comma, 1, 2, 3. Make sure you always start from the right side when you put that comma. All right, hopefully that is making sense. We'll do some practice. There's a completed table. Again, if you need to copy that down, go ahead. It'll help you out when you get to your practice page and your exit ticket. So the product of 10 used as a factor of number of times is called a power of 10. Okay, we can write a power of 10 in exponential form using that base and the exponent. So, first practice, write 10 as a multiplication expression. Go ahead and choose. All right, hopefully You did the one with 8 tens. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, because that tells me how many times I'm multiplying it together. Now, see if you can find the product. So like what the answer is written as just a standard number. All right, hopefully you chose the one with 8 zeros, since it's to the power of 8, and there's 8 tens. All right, we're just going to do a few more. If you're feeling confused, feel free to ask for help. This is the first time you might be really paying attention to exponents, so it's okay if it's confusing. All right, what is the multiplication expression for 10 to the 4th power? All right, hopefully you picked the one with 4 tens, because I have a power of 4, which means I'm doing 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. All right, we're going to skip these because, again, you're just doing it that many times. 10 to the 3rd power is 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, we'll just do one more. All right, hopefully you got it. 6 tens. All right, so what would the exponential form be for this one? All right, hopefully you chose 10 to the 3rd power, because there are 3 tens, right? So it's to the 3rd power. All right, what about this one? All right, hopefully you got 10 to the 5th power, because there are 5 of them that I multiplied together. I'm going to skip to one where we go from exponential form to the number. Okay, or from the number to exponential form. So what would 1,000 be with a power, with an exponential form? All right, remember, it has 3 zeros. That means it is 10 to the 3rd power. The zeros, the power, the number of factors always match. All right. Go ahead, and if you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, do your practice, and good luck.